words satrap and satrapy are not very common in modern English, and if you know them, you're likely educated, read the Times, or play a lot of Rome Total War. If you already know what a satrapy is, then actually I'm impressed. But for everyone else, let's look at what a satrapy is. Satraps were the governors of the provinces, known as satrapies, of the ancient Median and Persian empires, and in several of their successor states, such as in the Sassanid Empire and the Hellenistic empires. The word satrap comes from an old Persian word meaning protector of the province, and Sanskrit for realm, province, and protector. The first large-scale use of satrapies, or provinces, originates from the First Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great. Up to the time of the conquest of Media by Cyrus the Great, emperors ruled the conquered lands through client kings and governors. But this could not work in the Persian Empire, as in Persian culture, kingship was related to divinity. Because of this, the 26 satraps established by Cyrus were never kings but viceroys, ruling in the king's name. Later, Darius the Great developed the role, given the satrapies a definitive organisation, increased their number to 36, and fixed an annual tribute. As the provinces were originally the result of conquests, satrapies were often defined by former states and ethno-religious identity, and this was one of the keys to the Persian success, as their open attitude to the culture and religion of the conquered people reduced strife. In those days, the satrap was in charge of the land that he owned as an administrator. He collected taxes, controlled the local affairs, and was the supreme judge of the province. He was responsible for the safety of the roads and had to get rid of various bandits and rebels. Being the satrap was not an easy task, and the satrap went under periodic inspections and was given a council of Persians to help manage affairs. This is a little bit like if every country within the UK were given an English council to watch over affairs. On top of this, there were further checks on the power of each satrap. His chief financial officer and the general in charge of the regular army of his province were independent of him and reported directly to the king, but the satrap was allowed to have troops under his own service. The satrap was not always under the authority of the king though. Whenever central authority in the empire weakened, the satrap often enjoyed practical independence, especially as it became customary to appoint him also as general-in-chief of the army district, contrary to the original rule. After the fall of Persia, the satrapic administration and the title were kept by Alexander the Great and by his successor states. You might be thinking at this point, well, that's all very interesting, but is the word used much today? And the answer is yes and no. The word satrap is often used metaphorically in modern literature to refer to world leaders and governors who are heavily influenced by a larger world superpower, but it is not used in everyday language. But apparently in Portuguese, Italian and Spanish, the word satrapa not only carries the aforementioned ancient historical meaning, but in modern usage also applies to people who abuse power or authority, and it can refer as well to those living in luxurious and ostentatious conditions, or to individuals who act disloyally. So, in conclusion, satrap means protector of the realm, satrapy is the territory under a satrap's control. Satraps replaced minor kings because the Persians linked kingship to divinity, and the word is not used today in its original sense. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below and we'll have a little read over them. There'll be more content like this coming soon, so please stay tuned for more. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And if you can, please share the video to sites like Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, Dig, wherever, as it's a really big help and a real good support for the show. Thanks very much again guys, and see you in the next episode.